This Nightmare Before Christmas sequel is a hot mess. That doesn't mean it's bad, but there's a lot to unpack. I picked up The Hour of the Pumpkin Queen expecting to see more Holiday Town realms, maybe older or lesser known holidays that were teased previously. I certainly didn't expect Halloween Town to cease to exist. Now, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of new towns, more info on how the Hinterlands trees were made, and a nasty new prince. But honestly, this whole thing is a very messy, time-splintered look into Sally's very tangled and frayed psyche, and surprisingly, a horrifying amount of teeth in places they shouldn't be. This takes place a year after Jack and Sally get married. And, like the original movie, it starts off with a prologue, which reads like an obituary. From it, we learn Sally and Jack found new towns right away: Tooth Town, Weather Town, and Music Town. Sally, now super invested in her role of Pumpkin Queen, has added a lot to her plate. Writing obituaries for Ghost and Ghoul, running a haunted bed and breakfast, stalking her cafe, exploring new realms with Jack, and, ruling all of Halloween Town. She is trying to be perfect at everything. And she's starting to fray. So Sally clearly needs more pressure, parental pressure to rule Dreamtown, where she was born, as well. Her parents want her to become governor so they can step down. They spring this not insignificant ask on Sally while she and Jack are freaking visiting on their 1-year wedding anniversary trip to Dreamtown. Sheesh. Even before this ill-timed ask, Sally has to deal with a roller coaster of abuser baggage when she sees Dr. Finkelstein herding counting sheep, his community service for kidnapping her from Dreamtown when she was a child. He says she will never belong anywhere, will never be whole. Sally just wants to explore all the other realms with Jack, like they wished for on scattering dandelion seeds. But she feels pulled in every other direction, and even has a dream or premonition of being ripped apart at her seams. Feeling very overwhelmed, Sally naturally decides to take on a mentee from Dreamtown. Luna is a very accomplished fairy tale writer whose parents expect her to follow in their footsteps. Now, the holiday realms have a lot of inter-realm drama, which feels like stores pushing Christmas merch in summer. 4th of July Town visited Dreamtown and set off a ton of fireworks, which woke everyone up, the opposite of dreaming. The Easter Town rabbits ate all of St. Patrick's Day shamrocks. We soon find that a mere 2 weeks before Halloween, Jack's precious pumpkins fall victim to Thanksgiving Town, who baked them into pies. The horror! Well, Jack did love the smell of cakes and pies in the movie. It's okay though, because Pilgrim Pete brought some to share with the Halloween Town residents. Even the freaking Tooth Fairy is upset at Sally for rotting children's teeth out with Halloween candy, and threatens to pull out Sally's molars, which are weirdly a recurring theme in this book. But why does Sally, a hand-sewn ragdoll, have real teeth? Yes, we can see some of those in the movie, but this somehow seems creepier once you start paying attention to materials. This whole time, Sally feels between worlds of comfort being a ragdoll and scary, ruling Halloween Town and being able to self-dismember. This belonging everywhere yet nowhere is a big theme of the novel. Sally feels she has no home, and being made of odd pieces, she is not whole. If she can't feel complete herself, Sally thinks to solve the drama with an inter-realm exhibition where holidays can learn about each other, and decides to host it 5 days before Halloween. It's not like the town is busy with prep or anything. She invites ambassadors from each holiday town. Jack, the skeleton with 100 faces, which feels like a cute nod to the stop-motion faceplates, gives a ghastly presentation, contorting and distorting his face. Luna brews a sweet dreams tonic that goes horribly wrong. Spoiler, it's been sabotaged. And in a vortex of a black smoke ring, both Sally and Luna are transported to a new world. Filled with amethyst mist, tall purple mountains, a river banked by huge coffin-sized stones, stars pulsing and birds cuckooing to the ticking of the clock. Of course, we're in Time Town. This town is responsible for the entire flow of time in the world. If there's something stuck in its river, time could be altered forever or something. A fisherman or timekeeper, Nico Time, fishes Sally's leg out of the time river, which is made of moments and not water. good thing because dolls would just absorb water and drown. Sally had ripped this limb off in order to save Luna, but that's one limb lost like her premonition. Nick scolds the dolls because visitors are not allowed in Time Town. All of its doors have been hidden forever, and they need to report to Father Time immediately. But he doesn't escort the dolls, just pushes them in a boat down the river. Good riddance. Anyway, as you may have guessed, Time Town is precise. Each building kinda looks like a cuckoo clock with a spire, clock hand on its roof. All the residents wear brass watches, but their clothing is from all different eras, past, present, and future. Now here's where it gets overpowered. Each resident can control their own time. Got chores to do? Move time faster forward. Forgot something at the store? Rewind and retrace your steps, get the item, and then push play normally. Want to keep smooching that first kiss? Put it on loop. Bask in the moment of nostalgia in the present. Just press pause. This all seems broken to me in every way. Anyway, the dolls finally get an escort to Father Time and the central clock. Here, Sally casually flips an hourglass, which I'm not sure was her wisest move, messing with time. Anyway, we find that the holiday towns each have their own clock, and those clocks are all not in sync. So does each town actually exist in its own perpetual bubble of time, where it passes just enough to restart the seasonal prep work after the event? The Halloween town clock depicts a row of miniature jack-o'-lanterns beneath an orange sun, eclipsed by a cat's yowling silhouette. The hands of the clock are skeleton hands. As the clock chimes, a spry skeleton figurine pops out of the tiny door. His hollow eyes remind me so much of Jack that my molars ache with longing. Sally's molars ache with longing? What? Is this because of the angry tooth fairy, or does she actually have teeth? Anyway, out of her molar-aching longing, Sally touches the clock, and a tingle spreads all over her. She is then warned that touching the clock could mess with time. Whoops. Turns out Father Time is out of the office because the forever glass has been stolen. Without his aid, in order to return to Halloween Town, Sally brews a potion in the Hall of Time's fountain. What could possibly go wrong? As she and Luna jump into the portal Sally made, the Halloween Town clock hurtles to the floor and splinters. Sabotage! Now, this whole time, Sally's been working from her memory of her potion book. But when is this book from? Because there are potions and spells in there for traveling inter-realm. Smoke Ring, a Rambler's traveling recipe, that if she saw at any point in her life before the last book, she would have known about the other realms. But it seems like no one outside of Dr. Finkelstein did until Jack stumbled upon Christmas Town, though. She might have procured it or annotated it after inter-realm time traveling, though, too? Well, we're about to learn about some Hinterlands chronology at any rate. Apparently, pre-Hinterlands doors like Time Town and Dream Town, etc. just appeared in the Hinterlands. Also, the Hinterlands is a shared common space between all the worlds. Each realm does not have its own Hinterlands region. Each town can get to it from theirs. It seems that any alterations Sally and Jack made are made in every instance of the Hinterlands anyway. But the other doors, like the Holiday Town doors, were very clearly created. By whom, we don't know at this point in the story, but we do know the order in which they were created, because Sally has gone back in time by mistake. Halloween Town's door is carved roughly, not yet painted, and instead of the stumpy branch Sally is used to, there's a living branch in the past. Christmas Town's door has 2 new of shiny ornaments and no doorknob yet. Valentine's Town is finished, but the red paint is still wet. Easter Town's door is not yet carved, it's just a chalk outline. St. Patrick's, Thanksgiving, and 4th of July towns are not even started, they're just blank bark. We also learned that the light never changes and night never falls in the Hinterlands. It's the same undefined time forever. But that's not the case here, so where are Sally and Luna? Turns out, Halloween Town, but it's completely empty. The Spiral Hill exists, but there are no houses, no pumpkins, no Oogie Boogie Lair, no residents. This is Halloween Town in the past, before it existed as we knew it in the movie. Sally panics, then gets a poem from Queen Valentino to help her find the door to Time Town in order to fix time in Halloween Town. While searching the Hinterlands Valley, Sally and Luna find other big doors and squat doors, painted doors and brass knockers. At the entrance to a cave, we find a door that's entirely black. Not gonna lie, I'd like to revisit some of these. Sally and Luna eventually face off with a flaming dragon. Fire is a ragdoll's worst danger. Not this guy though. Scorch, 4 feet tall, was just roasting apples while out questing. He is from Fable Town, where dragons are supposed to be villains, but Scorch wants to be good. He is an outcast like Sally, but was raised by gnomes instead of a creepy scientist. Guess where we're going next? Fable Town's tree is the largest tree in the Hinterlands. It's thousands of years old because what's older than stories? The tree has an open storybook in its door. I absolutely loved Fable Town. As someone obsessed with reading old fairy tales, it was really fun to see all the weird pieces from those old stories come to life. There are hundreds of stories yearning to be played out in Fable Town. If you are drawn into a quest for goblins' gold, or a foot race against a rabbit, or a mission to rescue a blonde prince from a tower, you might never return to your own story. Fable Town proper is split into 2 sections, separated by a river. Villain Village and Hero Haven. Yes, what makes a person good or evil is a question Sally will have to sort out. And spoiler, it's not this cut and dry. Villain Village, where Scorch is from, is a dirty, ramshackle place with taverns and home of bandits, rascals, and scallywags of the worst degree, says a witch selling poisoned apples. Basically, imagine every Disney villain's lair or hangout all in one place. Sally loves it here. It kind of reminds her of Halloween Town, and everyone in Fable Town knows of the land of werewolves and witches and ghosts. It's greatly admired here in Villain Village. Wait, everyone knows about Halloween Town and the doors except for Halloween Town? Even the towns that are newer holiday towns did in the first book sequel. Anyway, high up across the water is Fable Town's administrative center, a shimmering tall glass tower, like from such fairy tales as The Glass Castle, surrounded by Hero Haven, a cheerful town of thatched roof houses, boutiques, cafes, and windmills. Here, there's a new king every week, as some prince or another will have completed some quest or another to win a crown. So, the true ruler of Fable Town, both sides of it, is Lady Seraphina Lore. She is essentially a mirror made human, pewter hair, mirrored fingernails, and pupils. She merely reflects stories or questions back to the teller. Not a keeper of tales, but a mirror. And to Sally, she's basically a therapist. She knows everything and nothing. Lady Lore's own mirror, the Mirror of Reverie, looks like Disney's from Beauty and the Beast. With it, she shows Sally 3 futures. One where Sally remains the Pumpkin Queen, one where she is Dreamtown Governor, and one where she is an adventuring artist, simply Sally. Sally realizes that there are many futures, and she does not have to be everything all at once. In one of Luna's 3 futures, she is the Dreamtown Governor. We briefly touch on Tide Town. Well, that it has a door with a blue spiral that Jack once guessed might be Tide Town. That's it for Tide Town's description in this book. Lady Lore rips a page out of probably the oldest storybook to exist, yikes, and feeds it to her cauldron, which burps up a riddle. Sally must solve it to find Time Town, by which I mean she has to sacrifice her own hands to its depth, essentially becoming the girl with no hands from the very dark fairy tale, The Girl with No Hands. Check 2 more limbs off the premonition list. Sally wonders who she will be and how she will do everything without them. For a ragdoll can be repaired, but once a piece of them is missing, it cannot be remade apparently. Lady Lore, now a therapist, asks, "Do you often feel the expectation to take care of others?" Says Sally, "I was made to take care of," and thinks, a feeble old man, but realizes that that's not true. It's her love for Jack and her friends and for her responsibilities that she makes this sacrifice. Which is a super short sacrifice because right away a Wayfinder cuckoo bird emerges from the cauldron to lead them to Time Town's hidden door. Sally's hands also bubble back up from it. now with tiny silver threads in the cloth, making them shimmer. Luna reconnects them with strands of her own hair. Oh, now she's part of Sally too. Lady Lore's final words to Sally: "The world will try to pull you in every direction if you let it, Sally, but set your own course." So rather than being run by the clock and expectations, Sally asks Scorch to switch course mid-flight to soar in the air some more before going into Time Town. She feels free from all of her roles and responsibilities up here. Sally has changed so much in this brief flight and is now ready to go through the Time Town door. Here, she's able to put her years of watching Dr. Finkelstein tinker with gears to good use in fixing the Halloween Town clock. Then we find out that Scorch stole Lady Lore's Mirror of Reverie, which that's a very villainous thing to do. Found object, he says. Yeah, sure. This sends Scorch down a very dark mental path. Anyway, they use the pilfered mirror and find out that Halloween Town is still empty and silent as a haunted grave, which would be loud, I would think, but it's not in the past. It's the rubble of Halloween Town in the future. Oh no! It's overgrown with moss and ruins. The mirror acts as a VR headset would. If Sally moves around where she's at, it shows her Halloween Town at those very same angles. So she walks around and finds that in this future, Jack had left Sally a note saying, "It's been 50 years since she disappeared, and the whole town set out to find her, canceling Halloween the whole while," which explains the forgotten mossy ruins of the holiday. It was discovered that the saboteur also wanted to destroy the Halloween Town world. At the exhibition, after Sally and Luna vanished, this mystery villain acted more overtly. So now the Halloween Town residents are vagabonds. Sally is so upset that her molars slam like a coffin door. What is it with molars specifically in this story? Are they the new feathering jaw? Lost, the trio go in search of a new realm, but are finally caught by Father Time, a great bear of a man covered in clocks. Time Dad says that the magic of Halloween Town is broken, so fixing the clock won't matter. You need to reset Time's magic itself. So basically the old turn it on and off again. The way to do that is the Forever Glass, which has been conveniently missing since we started this story. Father Time names the Tooth Fairy as his primary suspect. Why? I don't think he says, but Sally hops on that blame train because she has beef with the ruler of teeth, thinking it's because of rotting kids' teeth out with candy. At least all the molar references are starting to make sense. Father Time is overclocked, covered in watches, and barely ticking himself. Here, Sally, as a fellow ruler, says he's only one person and can't take on every burden alone. She asks to handle the Tooth Fairy situation for him. Sally has learned how to delegate, but here really took on more work for herself again. Father Time is grateful. Theoden melts his stress off and gives Sally a time-manipulating watch. She asks casually about erasing time, maybe to change her abduction as it causes her pain. But who would she be then? She comes to her own terms with it. I'm not gonna lie, I have been dreading coming to Tooth Town. A world made of teeth and every dentistry horror? I'd rather not. Anyway, Tooth Town's entrance is in a short, knobby tree with a mouse-sized pixie door, which is super cute because a lot of places have a tooth mouse instead of a fairy. There's also a full-sized human door depicting a tooth and 2 gold coins with an old knob on the other side. This town seems okay at first. It's a huge overgrown garden a la Alice in Wonderland style, where all the pixies live in flower houses. But the pathways are cobbled with baby teeth. But Sally's here to set it straight with the crooked Tooth Fairy, whose garden house is made of chaos. The door is a coffin lid the fairy stole from Halloween Town's graveyard a few months before. The carpets are taken from Fable Town. The chimney is made from ceramic Easter egg paint pots. The wind chimes are Christmas Town ornaments. A bridge made of witches' broomsticks spans a moat filled with coins. A Time Town grandfather clock holds up a porch corner. An old, dry Christmas tree holds up another. There's even furniture from Valentine's Town and a rug made of Dreamtown flannel PJs on the porch. Sally thinks it's beautiful. It's her goal of combining the holidays after all. But also, all these separate parts that shouldn't go together do work together. Like Sally. Oh. Sally blames her tears on the wind. The Tooth Fairy has it out with Sally, who, mortified, realizes the Tooth Fairy has not been stealing, but recycling, which is chaotic good for her. Everything she stole was discarded in the other towns. Now, it just so happens that the missing Forever Glass, which controls the whole flow of time, is inside the Tooth Fairy's home. She thought it was junk as it was just laying on the floor in Time Town, and she thought it was the perfect size to hold up her record player. Sally, who's been dreading confronting the Tooth Fairy this whole story so far, accuses the Tooth Fairy of stealing the glass, breaking the Halloween Town clock, and sabotaging Luna's spell. Says she's had it out for Halloween Town for days. The Tooth Fairy just laughs and basically says she teases everyone and wouldn't sabotage anyone over a few cavities. She still doesn't sound pleasant though. The fairy does not have time for this blame game and slams the door in Sally's face. Meanwhile, Scorch is acting very weird. Turns out he is the culprit. He can fly, he likes to steal, and he's a villain. Dun dun dun. Scorch is about to freak the flame out with Luna right in his line of literal fire, but Sally pauses time with her new fancy watch. She blames herself for not seeing Scorch's true villainous self sooner, and we are on the brink of another character realization. Scorch also saves Sally and Luna many times. She sees the dichotomy of hero-villain-dragon. She lives in a town of monsters who are sweethearts just below the surface after all. Jack, the king of fright, gives the softest kisses. While time is frozen, Sally uses the Mirror of Reverie to see what actually happened in Time Town the day the Halloween Town clock broke. She sees Scorch and a mysterious figure in a dark cloak whispering into Scorch's ear. The figure's cloak is unlike anything she's ever seen. Its woolen fabric fades away at the hem, bleeding into storm clouds that crackle with tiny crashes of lightning. The cloak's hood obscures the figure's face, but the edge of a golden crown gleams on their head. Scorch accidentally dropped the clock after he grabbed it. Sally assumes the cloaked figure has been pulling Scorch's strings. Anyway, time unfreezes and Sally reveals the truth about Scorch, who is still in danger of becoming an inferno and is backed into a corner. Sally channels years of living in a land of spooks, and probably her molars, to make herself the scariest pumpkin queen of nightmares she is. In order to scare Scorch into submission. She does, but what the flame, Scorch? Why? Well, Scorch wanted to be a hero, and heroes defeat monsters. So he tried to destroy Halloween Town because they are monsters. Scorch thought that he would be a great hero if he stopped an entire realm full of monsters, but didn't want to hurt the citizens, just stop their holiday. Scorch only ruined the clock. The potion? Well, that must be the prince's doing. Prince is what Sally has started to call the mysterious figure. On hearing Scorch's story, Sally realizes that her different pieces and past are actually uniquely whole. Belonging isn't a place, it's a feeling. She apologizes to the Tooth Fairy, but in order to get the Forever Glass back, she must make a dreaded fairy bargain. She gets so exasperated in trying to trade with the Tooth Fairy that her molars clench so tightly that she's afraid they will crack. Molars again. Ragdolls having teeth is the scariest thing in this book, right? Scorch ends up trading one of his dragon fangs for it, and the trio turns the hefty Forever Glass over and use the mirror to see the current Halloween Town. It worked! Spiral Hill, the cemetery, Sally's herb garden, even the band, Mayor, and Jack are all present and accounted for. 2 days have passed since Sally and Luna disappeared. The Halloween Town clock said 5 before, and now it says 3 days before Halloween. This time skipping makes Sally realize that she has been living in the wrong time. Shackled by her past, fearful for the future, she will now live in the present. Aww. The Halloween Town residents are experiencing a weird kind of deja vu. Deja vu? And are confused by all the time hopping. Sally and Jack reunite, and Sally explains her time travel adventures at a town hall meeting. No mention of the prince though. Who is he? Scorch makes amends to the townsfolk by cleaning up the mess time travel caused and lights a bonfire around which everyone enjoys mugs of cranberry tea and laughter. In all the past Halloweens, Sally has stayed behind to take care of the near-empty town. This year, found by her newfound strength and intimidation of Scorch, she wants to be a scare. Sally busts out a scary face that enthralls Jack. I mean, she really stretches her mouth seams. Eek! Now I know that she has molars and real teeth somehow sewn into her doll face. She is absolutely terrifying to me too. She also learned how to delegate from her time with the overclocked Father Time and asks Scorch to stay behind and mind the children in town in her stead. She also invites him to stay in Dr. Finkelstein's tower, which will be mostly empty save for Igor and Jewel for the next 99 years while Dr. F completes his Dreamtown community service. Oh, right, the ambassadors are still in Halloween Town. St. Patty's Day Towns plays with the Dirge Band, and all the town representatives dance with the Halloween Town residents. A melding of holidays that gets more blended as Jack and Sally invite the other holidays to venture into the human world for Halloween this year. This also means that Sally will help brew pumpkin cream soup for Thanksgiving Town, help Sandy Claus stuff candy canes into stockings, whisper love spells into people's ears on Valentine's Day, etc. A true crossover collaboration. Halloween night rolls around and all the ambassadors from all the towns we've covered so far show up in costumes, ready to scare the mortal world. Sally stands up for herself and tells her parents that she will not be Dreamtown governor, suggesting Luna instead. Sally has also delegated writing obituaries, running the B&B, and holding the expo next year to others. She chooses to be simply Sally. Before heading out, Sally feels she must reclaim her past. She visits her old prison bedroom and replaces the missing jewel in her iron crown with none other than Dr. Finkelstein's old magnifying glass. What used to make her terrified is now her crowning jewel. In the epilogue, Sally finally tells Jack all the actual details of her time travel adventures and her worries about this mysterious prince who almost guarantees another sequel. But there's nothing to fear because Jack and Sally will solve this together now and forever, and with all the other towns as allies. So after reading this, I was hoping for more holiday towns to explore, but instead the towns were more functional in the world at large. How time moves in Time Town, where stories come from in Fable Town, the true horror and beauty of Tooth Town, and, tides? Yeah, I don't know about this one. Weather Town was mentioned on the first page, but never addressed again, probably to tease that the prince is from there. While all these new towns were neat to read about, they felt too big. Now to me, Halloween Town itself feels small and insignificant, as do the other holiday towns and trees. I was looking forward to exploring different cultures' holidays, and forgotten ones too. But this story, while disjointed through time and space, was a really loving journey into complicated emotions of where to belong, coming to terms with the past, and being who you want to be amid the expectations of others in the present. I did catch myself near tears a few times when Sally's revelations hit close to home, and I think that's the beauty of this book world. Yes, it's set in a whimsical, spooky world, and it's really messy and all over the place, but so are humans. The overall feelings and concepts explored in this book were consistent cover to cover, and it's a great story told with care, reverence, and plenty of attention paid to sewing materials. Sally's molars, though? Terrifying. It's easy to get lost in the Nightmare Before Christmas world, especially with new realms being introduced. The way Sally journeys through them and uses the mirror as a VR headset essentially feels like she's completing different video game levels to get to her final goal. Each realm is an escape room in a way, and she has to resolve some part of her past or future with her present to move on to the next. What if I told you you could also get lost in other worlds, solving very creative puzzles to continue more of the story? Well, you can, and in this not at all hypothetical situation, you are a top secret agent with powerful telekinetic abilities that allow you to escape many dangerous and gorgeous locations as you attempt to thwart evil and not die. I Expect You to Die is a virtual reality espionage escape room game trilogy that follows your character as they uncover increasingly sinister plots and try to stop them. While this job is absolutely not for the faint of heart, the snazzy soundtrack and cheeky spy humor make the high-intensity situations and puzzles an absolute delight. If you've ever played in virtual reality, you know how easy it is to get lost in. If you've never tried VR, now is a great time to try with the I Expect You to Die Phoenix Rising trilogy on sale right now. For instance, this is not my usual spooky haunt, but I absolutely love this mid-century modern home, which is unfortunately the home of our nemesis, packed with death traps, a cute killer bot, and about 1,000 other things that can go wrong and do. I expect you'll love I Expect You to Die. I also expect you'll love 45% off this trilogy. Use my link below and code FRANKRISING-8904FC for a 45% discount on each of the 3 games in the I Expect You to Die Phoenix Rising sale going on right now through November 19th. Start your VR espionage adventure right away with all 3 games. Thank you to Shell Games for sponsoring this video. But what did you think of this Nightmare Before Christmas sequel, The Hour of the Pumpkin Queen? Was there a world that stuck out to you, or one you wished we could have visited? I absolutely love the old stories brought to life in Fable Town. But thanks for watching this twisted dive into the Nightmare Before Christmas sequel. Subscribe so you can see what's coming next in my spooky corner of the world.